Muhammad, we need the criteria.
Yes, Dr. Sheikh Al-Taneji, you may start. Thank you.
Just, I want to tell you, Fatma, did you hear the introduction?
Yes, I already started.
Okay. Because I wasn't sure if you heard the introduction. So can we start with the main criteria, the six? The first one, the leadership and educational management. Yes, I mean, you can go to the next slide. Next, please, because already I introduced that slide. Next, Mohammed. Yes, as I told you that we have 6 main criteria, and there is a new sub-criteria that have been added to the main criteria. The first one, we're going to focus, or we're going to talk about leadership and educational management. Under that main criteria, we have 4 sub-criteria. The first one, planning and administrative organization. If we look at this criteria, you have to present an evidence that you have a vision and mission, and you disseminate that vision and mission in your community. Also, we need an evidence that the school leadership worked based on operational plan to achieve a strategic plan. So this is very important, that we need vision and mission in your document. By the way, the document will be electronic. It's not acceptable any hard paper. So the first file, it will talk again on a planning and administrative organization. We're going to first talk about vision and mission, and then the operational plan that achieves the strategic plans. And then also we're going to ask you if you evaluated the school plans. We need an evidence, show us that you evaluate your plans. Also, does the school leadership use evaluated result to improve its plans? We need an evidence that you always look at your plans and you evaluate it. If there is any sign for improvement, it will be great. Also, this is the 5 now sub criteria, or the 5 item that we need to make. We need to see if the school leadership make sure that the teachers are committed to the ethical code and regulations. Any evidence show us that the school cares and implement and follow up with the ethical code and regulations. The last items we are looking for is if the school leadership exercise documented delegation. And this is very important element. In many old files, we saw that many school leadership or a school principal or even the group doesn't know what is delegation. It's very important that when you show us an evidence of delegation, delegation talks about delegating authority and responsibility. And it should be about one of the leadership tasks for certain time. This is very important when you show us, when you demonstrate the evidence. So this is the items should be under planning and administrative organization. And then we added a new item, crisis management. This is very important item. It wasn't there before. As you know, crisis could be events that either cause harm or could have potential harm for the individual or organization. What kind of harm? Could be physical harm, like theft or like damage or physical damage to the school. Could be severe weather. Could be transmission of disease. So this is an example for a crisis could happen in a school. So in order to meet this crisis, did you as a school form a team? Did this team list and identify the problem areas that the school might face? Did this team prepare and develop plans to deal with these emergency situations? Do you have like a proactive plan? This is very important. We need an evidence to show us that you have proactive plan. Is the team prepared and encouraged to enroll in voluntary programs and activities to have necessary skills? It's very important that we see that the school leadership support this team and try to equip them with the necessary skills. The third item, innovation. Innovation is very important item also, and even the government emphasize this item. And in this item, we are looking for the team also. Does the school have an innovation team? Does this team brainstorm for strategies and ideas? Did they collect these ideas? Did these ideas have been implemented? Did the school leadership support the owners of implemented innovative ideas? Did the team evaluate the result of implemented innovative ideas? Have the owners of the innovative ideas been awarded at national levels? So all of these questions should be answered by evidence, not theoretical or words in the file. So when you start filling this item, you have to support this item with evidence. The fourth item is developing positive relations among employees. Did you identify a list of motivation strategies? How do you motivate your teachers or the teachers in the school? By awards, by message, email, bonus. You have to look for what could motivate teachers. And then, did you measure teachers' job satisfaction? This is very important because we hear, especially in a private school, that many teachers complain that they are not satisfied about their work. So did you measure their satisfaction? And what did you do about that measurement? I mean, did you analyze the result? And then when you analyze the result, do you have any action plan to meet their needs? Did you build collaborative groups in your school? Did you prepare and engaged in teachers' social events? Could be marriage, could be birthdays, events. Look for events that could that give you a chance to participate with teachers. Did you involve teachers in the decision-making process? Very important that teachers know what's going on in the school. We need evidence as referees that support this item. And then the second main criteria is quality of education and learning. In the quality of education and learning, we are looking for 8 items actually. We are looking to the list of teaching modern strategies and practices. Could be cooperative learning, could be adaptive teaching, could be learning by doing, could be context-based learning, could be learning through argumentation. This is some examples to show us that you have some modern strategies and approaches in teaching. And we need an evidence that you implemented those strategies. Don't list strategies or approaches that you don't implement in your school. So list these strategies and then show us evidence that you implement them. And then also we need an evidence that you follow up with the implementation and you present feedback to teachers. And after you give the feedback, did you see any impact? Did you measure the impact on students? Also, we are looking to and evidence that you utilize the new technology in a classroom, like games, video, discussion, whether in teaching or in exams. And currently we have a lot of technical or technological tools through the internet. And I'm sure, I mean, and I know that a lot of teachers, many teachers actually implemented the great techniques in their classes. Also, we need an evidence that there is an exchange, an evidence of exchanging information and expertise between teachers and even between among the schools. I mean, if you got some expertise from outside or even peer review or, I mean, collegial teacher visit your class. So this is good evidence to support this item. Also, we need an evidence that you invested the school environment. Do you do a class outside? Do you try to connect between what's outside in the backyard with the classroom lesson? So this is a great opportunity to show us that you have efficiency and effectiveness of teachers. Also, we need an evidence that you utilize multiple and appropriate tools for evaluation. Not only you go and visit the teacher and write observation or the form, that only form for the summative evaluation. We need an evidence that you have informative assessment, you have different kind of assessment for different purposes. Will help us to know that you have quality of teaching in your school. Also, I mean, we have to, now the third item, the third sub-criteria is learning pedagogical and educational performance. Under that main criteria, we have 5 items or 5 criteria. The first one, academic attainment of learners. Academic attainment of learners, we are looking for a general progress in students' performance for the last 3 years. So we need an evidence that your students made progress for the 3 last year. So, and then we have another item that you need to provide or you need to include it in your file about your plan, and if you have a plan and that you a plan and that for students, I mean, you have a plan for to improve students' progress or students' achievement. And that plan was implemented and evaluated. And if there is any modification, you're gonna notice that it's that every time we are asking for a plan, we need an evidence that you implemented that plan and that you evaluated that plan, and also you modify it after you evaluate it. The third item, we're gonna need in your file that you have an extra curriculum activities for Arabic and English languages. We know that most private schools focus on the English language, and many schools or many stakeholders, or we're gonna say many parents, complain that the focus in Arabic is weak. So we need an evidence that you work in both languages. So all of these evidences should be under academic attainment of learners. And then we have the other item, catering for low achievers. In catering for low achievers, we are looking for a list of students and what areas of weaknesses and why they have certain weaknesses. Did these students were divided and categorized based on remedial groups? I mean, after you identify them and you knew their weaknesses, did you divide them? Did you develop a plan to meet their needs? Did you implement that plan? What the outcomes of implementing the enrichment programs? You divide them in groups, and you provided them with activities and programs, or different activities in different programs. We need to see the outcomes. Is there any progress in their academic achievement? We are not just focusing on the low achievers. We also focusing on distinguished and talented learners. We need to see a developed plan. Did you develop and prepare plan for those students? Did you implement that plan? Did you motivate the high achievers? Did you recognize their achievement? And then did you evaluate that plan and its programs? Did you measure the impact of that plan? It's very important that you implemented assessment test as a diagnostic test to see if there is any improvement. So this is the third category, or the third item. And then the fourth item, developing learners integrated personality. And this is very important, that you don't just only focus on the academic achievement. You focus also on their personality and the student's personality. Do you have a student council? Do you have a plan to develop the student personality? Did you implement any activities and programs? Did you measure the impact of that plan? Did you develop code of conduct and circulate it among students, parents, and educators? We know that there is a code of conduct from the Ministry of Education, and most of schools, all schools have got that code of conduct. But we are also looking for other work from the school. There is any individual contribution to the code of conduct. So this is also very important. Also, we need to focus on the participation and competition and extracurricular activities. It's very important. As I said before, we always, when we have a plan, we have implementation. So do you have a plan for that? To participate in the competition and competitions and extracurricular activities? Did you implement these activities which were mentioned in your plan? Did you provide space, time to the students to practice the activities? Did you list the participation in the national, international competitions? Did you win any national or international competitions? This is very important evidence, as I said, to support your case or your file. Muhammad, can you move to the second slide, please? This time, or this year, we focused only in the human resource management. Before, in the previous years, also we talked about the financial resource, but as from the experience that we got, we found out that most schools don't have control on the financial resources. So basically, we focused on the human resource management. In the human resource management sub-criteria, we are focusing on if the school identify the professional development needs. Did they use a specific mechanism to identify these needs? Did the school develop a comprehensive professional development plan? Did they implement these programs which were outlined in the professional development plan? Did they evaluate the effectivenesses of the professional development programs? I send a teacher for a certain workshop. Did there is any impact? So we need to look at these things. Also, did you encourage continuous self-development among employees, or every time you have to sign teachers for certain workshops, or I mean, there's any encouragement, or you support them for their continuous self-development? Did you mentor and watch and follow up the effect of the professional development among your teachers? Do you have a clear and announced evaluation system? Do the teachers know based on what they are evaluated? This is very important, that they know based on what they are evaluated. And then we have the second criteria, environment of educational institution. We are focusing on the environment, the quality of the campus of educational institution, and the utilities attached to it. On this subcategory or sub-criteria, we are focusing on the attractive physical environment. Do you take care of your environment, the physical environment? Do you have different physical resources that meet students' needs in the classrooms, in the playground? Did you evaluate the effectivenesses of the school equipments and resources regularly? Do you maintain the buildings and facilities? Do you keep the school clean? Do you have evidence of all of these things? Do you recognize educators and learners' initiative to provide an attractive environment? I mean, there's many teachers, or some teachers, actually, they like to contribute to the school environment. Do their work are recognized and awarded? And even students. I know some students are happy to engage and involve in the school activities. And then we have another subcategory or sub-criteria, security and safety system. Just note that I want you to not overlap with the crisis management. Here we focus on the safety system. The emergency, if you have any emergency plan for in case, for example, mainly if there is a fire in the school, do you implement that? Did you evaluate that with other institutions like defense, civil defense institution? Do you have a security and safety conditions in the educational buildings? Do you have certain equipments and tools around the school that guarantee or ensure the safety of the students? We need an evidence, whether pictures, video, whatever, to help us to evaluate your work. Also, did you circulate the awarenesses of security and safety among educators and learners? This is very important. As I said before, it's very important that we have an evidence for all of this. And then we have another subcategory, which is or sub-criteria, environmental culture in the educational institution. Under this sub-criteria, we are looking to the activities that show us that students aware or they know how to protect and care about their school environment. And there is a plan for that in the school. And also another item which we are focusing on is the sustainable environment, and there is many examples to show us how the school care about the sustainable environment, such as reducing energy or water, reusing certain items, or using recyclable products. So this is an examples how can the school focus on sustainable environment. The other actually the last main criteria is the educational institution and the community. We go back, Muhammad, go back. Yes, we have to stay here. In this last subcategory, or in the last main category, we focus on the effective partnership between the educational institution and the local community. What we are looking for in this main criteria, if the school have parents council, do they have a plan to provide parents with the diverse programs and activities? Do they apply strategies and activities and programs of that plan? Do they engage parents in different school activities? Did the school follow up with the result of the application of the activities of these programs? Did they assess parent satisfaction of the school performance? These very important items to look for. Also, we need an evidence that stakeholders and the community are appreciated and awarded for their contribution. If you meet the last six criteria, you're gonna be awarded. Yes, Mohammed, go to the second slide. Yes, you're gonna be awarded the Khalifa Award trophy. You're gonna get the certificate of excellency and financial prize, which is 100,000. Next slide. Thank you for listening and attention. And these emails for any other question other than what you're gonna ask me.
Thank you, Dr. Sheikh Al-Taneji. The Khalifa Award for Education gratefully thanks you for an exclusive participation, enriched with knowledge and experience, a contribution that reinforces distinction and excellence and motivates educators for professional development, research, and improvement. We now declare the start of the open session for reflection and queries. Kindly address your question related to the workshop topic to be answered in the Q&A section. Dr. Sheikh Al-Taneji, you may now open Q&A section and start answering the questions, please.
Yes, I did, but I don't see any question here in the Q&A. I don't have any question here. Only there is a request that can we have a meeting recorded?
Okay, so I can see there is a question from Basma Abdullah that says, it is focused only on educators in school, or can instructors in the territory field apply as well?
It's only on schools. It's only for schools, whether as I said, the technical school or private or public schools.
Thank you for your answer. There is another question. Is there the explanation for the award in Arabic?
Yes, there's one is already recorded by Khalifa Award, and Ms. Khawla Suwaidi already presented that presentation.
Thank you, Dr. Sheikha. So
I want to just say something, that this presentation meant to be basically for the native speakers or for the teachers who's mainly talk in English, even as a second language.
So there is a question from Ayub that says, how could the school submit this evidences?
As a lecturer, you're gonna have pictures, you're gonna have videos, so you can upload it in your file. You can have it in your file and upload it on the website. And there is the steps. If you go to the website, you're gonna see steps to follow.
Thank you, Doctor, for your answer. So if there are any more questions from the attendees that they would like to share with us, they are most welcome in the Q&A section. Okay, so I think there are no more questions.
Hopefully the presentation is clear.
Yes, and of course, if you need any attendees that need further information, you can contact us via the email info@Khalifa Award, or you can visit our website. Can we have the official website? Sure, you can have the official website. It is www.khaward.ae.
I want to say something, Fatma, before you end up the session. It's very important, as I said, evidence. We had before this problem that most of the schools just show us their manual. So we are not looking for their manual for different work. So we need an evidence to cover the main criteria. We know that these schools are distinguished and they have a distinguished work, but unfortunately they don't know how to attach their work. So it's very important that you try to provide us, could be an email, could be a formal letter, could be a picture, could be a video, could be a decree. So these evidences help us to see your distinguished work in the school.
Thank you, Dr. Sheikha, for your clear explanation regarding the category. And finally, on behalf of the Khalifa Award for Education, we again extend our sincere thanks for all facilitators, academic leaders, and participants. And we hope to meet you all on Sunday, October 4th at our next educational event. Thank you all for your time and have a good evening.